Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 71 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff, and alongside me, as always, is the what are you gonna be today? The Santa Claus to my downtown Daddy Brown. Thanks, everyone. Let's go.
I'll take that. I like Santa Claus. It's the time of year for Santa.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're the Spider-Man meme, right? They're the same person, alleged.
That's true. We are very similar.
All right, so obviously we're on a little bit of a lag. We're trying to make it work, but thank you for tuning us on this Sunday edition of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Obviously, last night was IPWF, which we will be talking about and reviewing at number 4. One, we're going to do Impact, so it's a loaded episode today. Really stoked to talk about it, and this will go right up on YouTube right after. So before we get all into that, I do want to announce that next Saturday, which is American time Christmas, we will be 8 o'clock live normal time, so Christmas Day, 8 p.m. Craig will be rejoining us. It'll be a Christmas special where we'll announce all the Nonsensi Awards. If you aren't familiar or weren't with us yesterday during our first and last watch-along, it is... hey, what's going on, buddy? Impact and Eagles. Good to see you back. We're going to do a Christmas episode. The Nonsensies are our awards that range from Best Gear to Elix Spot of the Year and so on. Grinch of the Year, stuff of that nature. A little different than the actual ones that go out, and you guys get to be part of it, and it's a good laugh. So we'll do that on Christmas night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. So yeah, as I said, we did a watch along last night. Interesting. It's our first one. Wasn't intended to be one. Not something I think we're going to do again. It just talking over the talking over the product is so weird to me. It's such a I don't get to enjoy it. So I want to give all the focus to the wrestlers and the product. So we won't be doing that. But if you have been watching us and continuously watching this, I apologize. I haven't been mentioning the trivia results. The answer to last time's trivia question, which was how many people in the company history have held the TNA World Title as well as the Impact World Title, and the answer was 4, which is Aries, Moose, Eddie, and EY. Number the 4. This week's question, if you're our audio listener and didn't get to see it, this is for you. It is how many wrestlers in company history have won a title under 2 different names? So 2 different names. I'm not going to give any hints, but some masked people come to mind. So look up.
Does J. Styles and AJ Styles count as 2 different names?
Well, it's Sunday.
I'm just wondering.
No, it does not. It does not count. Okay. I mean, essentially different gimmicks of sort. Oh no, different names. Don't change it on us. All right. But speaking of that, in the interaction, we talked about the Nonsensies and the Christmas stuff and the IPWF. We'll get to all that and power rankings in just a moment. First, we want to do something we finally have comments to do again. It is the comment section read along. So the best lamest 20, one of our normal commenters said the tag division is just boring. It's the same guys wrestling over and over. If they're going to do that, at least have great matches, but that hasn't happened. They finally bring Larry D back and use the awful comedy romance gimmick, yet that is bad booking 101. That clearly have not learned anything from the Karate Man gimmick. Goes on to say about the knockouts are most interesting, and this is kind of touches on what we spoke about in that last episode of the tag division being the one that's kind of, they're trying, but it's so far behind all the others, and that the knockouts might be leaps and bounds ahead of any men's division. As far as the Larry D thing, Max touched on that last week, and I have to agree. You got to get his foot in the door, and then we'll get to IPWF and what he did last night, which there's quite a few people that I'm sour on, and I'm not sour on Larry D, but not overly ecstatic with that gimmick, especially being his permanent one. but there was a lot of people who had better gimmicks in IPWF than they do in real life. So I want to talk about that. And then Max, you could hit up this one first. It's props to you from AO. I agree with Max on the Kingdom. Very good tag team that can really help the division. Hey.
They could be awesome. I think they could have added Masha to the Ultimate X to take Ellerine's spot. Masha is a far more athletic wrestler than Ellerine. The Inspiration probably are going to have a match with the Influence, so I doubt they'll be in the Ultimate X. I think if they want to make the DMC title sort of mean something, probably should not have the person holding the DMC title going for the Knockouts title in the Ultimate X match.
That's a fair point.
Jake Something should be holding the DMC title, if nothing else. It gets him on TV, which he hasn't been in for months. I definitely agree with the part about if you have the DMC title, why are you going for the Knockouts? Like, that's your title, hold it. Like, it's...
I see that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because it's... My thought process is if you hold two titles like that, it spreads you thin and makes you more likely to lose both of them because you have to defend both of them in real life. Yes, in, like, real terms. So, obviously, in kayfabe, it doesn't matter. They can run through as many people as they want, but if you're being realistic about it, holding two titles, same reason why in UFC guys will win two and then usually relinquish one. So I think that's a good idea, but she's also a big star women wise. So
it comes down to this is that we could go back and forth of who should have been there. Masha, even though she has only had a cup of coffee in Impact, literally, which I'm stoked about her. And the athleticism part I agree on. I think what it comes down to is who are you rewarding? Who do you want in the record books? Who do you want's name on that first Ultimate X of all time for knockouts? And your reward, Jordan, DMC or not. So.
Right. No, and I agree with that. I also think that things like this, where you put a bunch of people in and winner gets a title shot, instantly gives you a program. But with Masha, you can bring her in and then build her up to a program as well. So I think that's another reason why they may not be using her in
I agree,
so.
Especially with bringing Lady Frost in, dry like that as well. Obviously, Lady Frost has a buzz on her own. Masha, the same, but maybe not as stable of fandom as Lady Frost has, I think, along the Indies. So I think it was a great job and we'll get to that. They obviously put a little thing for her this week, and we'll be reintroducing her soon. But before we do that, let's get into last week's Power Rankings. Let's see if you agree. If you don't, at TNAIW channel, write us. You could join the committee. It is free.
You mean this week's Power Rankings?
Previous episode's Power Rankings, yeah.
Okay. Well, because last episode, we did last week's Power Rankings again.
I digress.
Hi there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, and here's your TNAIW Top 10 for this week. Number 10, the Top Dog Jonah. Number 9, Tennille Dashwood. Number 8, Laredo Kid. Number 7, Hard to Kill Matt Cardona. Number 6, Hard to Kill W. Morrissey. Number 5, BBD and the Good Brothers. Number 4, The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander. Number 3, X Division Champion Trey Miguel. Number 2, Chris Bay. Number 1, World Champion Moose. That was your top 10 Impact Wrestlers of the week. Do you agree? Let us know at TNAIW channel. Back to you guys.
All right, Max, you're the most opinionated out of the group. So.
I mean, I thought they were good. I think they're solid rankings. No Kenny Omega. A little disappointed by that. The man couldn't make it on when he was champion. Thought maybe he'd make it on when he wasn't on the show, but who knows? But no, overall, they're good. I like them.
Yeah. We got an interesting topic in there, and we'll talk about that at Hard to Kill, obviously, at number 5. But D. Cohen there, welcome, mentions going to address the elephant in the room. Is the January pay-per-view in danger of going empty due to COVID numbers? We'll talk about that at number 5. A lot to ponder with this episode. We got two shows to talk about, including some cool news, backstage news happening with Deonna and ROH, Cardona, NWA, and so on. So we'll get into our normal Impact on Access TV results review right quick. David Cohen. That name sounds familiar. Do you also like Smallville and and Impact Wrestling? Is that guy? No. All right. So let's get right into that. We got that PBRIconmeals.com money Impact, so the production looked a little bit smoother and better in this one. Hey, it is. So Matt Frager said this was going to be a special episode, and I really think it does. But before I get into mine, I'll let Max tell his opinions. We had Josh Alexander defeat Rohit Raju, had Good Brothers and VBD Dangerous Unholy Alliance backstage with Gia. Gia then came back with Chelsea and Moose interview, which I know we'll talk about. You had Doring and LG, the Unholy Alliance, beating Mac and Swan. The Learning Tree looking for Brian. Let's see, Jonah with a dope promo there. You had Trey defeating John Skyler. Who is John Skyler? Macklin attacks and takes Trey as prisoner of war, it seems. So that's good. Bay and Laredo Kid for a very hyped match. I think delivered pretty well. And right after that, we got footage of the aforementioned ROH ROH footage with Rok-C and Deonna, which led into a signing with Ray Walt and and Deonna getting interrupted through Mickey, which turned it into a Texas death match, yada, yada, yada. All right. Masha Slamovic had a little teaser there, quick teaser, which I dug. Tennille of the Influence beat Jessie McKay of the Inspiration. Teardrop there. They had the contract signing, which normally I hate contract signings, but this one was different. There was a chair shot. Matt went through a table, and Chelsea's a whore. So let's get right into it. Max, lay it on me. What'd you think of this episode here?
I absolutely loved the episode. I thought it was absolutely amazing. My favorite match actually was the very first match of the night. Rohit Raju and Josh Alexander. I don't remember if we talked about it last episode or we were just talking, but to me, Rohit Raju is incredibly underrated. Like, I think he's not only he's a really good wrestler, he's a really good character. Like, there's just little things that he does. When he was in Ultimate X, all the little things he did because he's short to try and get to the belt, all that's like, it's just little things like that a lot of, now I don't know if it's him or I don't know if there's somebody in the back like being like, hey man, do X, Y, and Z. But he's really good at that stuff. He can also go. So I like what he's in. I honestly would like to see him be part of a tag team. I think, as we talked about, a weak tag division, I think him in there would be really good. But I thought it was a really good match. Once again, Josh Alexander, we were really wondering when he lost his title so quickly to Moose, what would they do with him? And they've kind of built a storyline with Jonah. But this match was another great match. My favorite part of the whole episode was the Moose and Chelsea backstage little interaction. I thought it was really well done. Just like Moose not only talking down to her, but talking down to her about Matt Cardona. Just really well done to where you're just like, man, this dude's a douche. And it's perfect for Moose. Moose is a star. I mean, that's all there is to it. Like, this guy could go in any promotion and be amazing. And so I really like that. I'm still a little confused as to why the Good Brothers and VBD are teamed up. They explained it, and I still don't understand it. I'm like, I just don't get it. I'm like, I don't understand why. Like, I could understand. I don't know. I'm just like, whatever. But hey, whatever. Two big guys going together as a tag team. I thought that was good. And I mean, at the end, the contract signing, really well done. A lot of these contract signings are super predictable. And when Cardona goes through the table, you're like, okay, this is kind of how these things end. Maybe, Moose walks out and Chelsea's over top of Cardona. Okay, well then the whole little interaction with the chair, and then all of a sudden you get a Bobby and Whitney chair shot to the head. And that, I mean, that just ending that, it was just really well done.
First of all,
so
we don't have any disrespect to the Queen Whitney on the show. Okay. Or the king of R&B, Bobby Brown. Okay. But no, yeah, A+ show for me. Definitely a bounce back episode. Eddie, yes, I agree. I'm reading your comments or trying to. You guys are hitting all the points I want to. First, with the tag team division, yes, I think Eddie is a clue that the Wolves are coming back. We know that it was supposed to be him and Sammy that kind of took over the tag division with the Good Brothers. And for better or worse, it did not happen. With the Rohit thing, obviously, remember, he has a tag team partner on the outside who looks legit, is legit. Kareem is his name. I've always pronounced it wrong. But quite a talent. We obviously have Mahabaleshwara out for a good period of time. Love that Raj Singh's back. What I really would like them to do, and the way it seems like they're booked. Now, you got to remember, they're probably not going to give Rohit the ball for a lot of period of time. If it looks like it or not, he's older than 80% of the roster. He's in his 40s. It's not that he looks old. It's not that he acts old. It's not that. It's just when you're.
He is old.
Yes, and when you're trying to develop or create, he's a great player. Great. I mean, I don't know why it's taken so long for him to be noticed. But he's phenomenal. And yes, I think in a tag division that is weak, as we said in the comments, as we're saying now, a Desi hit squad of some form would be dope, because the way and swag in which Raj and Rohit come out to, and the song. Look, I think for a lot of the time, I would say it's safe to say 95% of Indian American wrestlers, or Indian Canadian wrestlers, whatever, are all given the gimmick of Indian guy. Okay. This is something to me that's dope, that gives yet another a group or a minority or division a chance to shine in a different way. I dig it. And I'm glad you brought up the Rui thing, because I could go on all day about him and how great he is, but also that it just shows Impact's diversity, their ability to not, I don't want to say accept diversity, but embrace it and use it to it to how it should. It's just, they do such nice job. And I say diversity because it's not just race based. They do it with the women. They do, I feel like, with the LGBTQ community. So they just do a great job. I want to say that we've been noticing that the production and the interviews and the continuity between everything has been top notch for the past few months. There's been some lulls and stuff. But I can't agree with you more on that, man. I thought Chelsea, who, we challenged on the show, and I don't say she's listening, but hey, we said Angry Josh is the only one that works, and we get Angry Josh. So I think Chelsea had a great opportunity, was my knock on her at Knockouts Knockdown, to kind of step up and show what she's all about. And I don't think her matches did that. And it could be her injury, it could be whatever. I just don't think that that showed that, the step up. Her talent seems to be maybe not between the ropes as much as it is on that camera. She's good at interviews. She's good at being a character. She's, I think she's the perfect, not foil, because I think she's going to stick with Matt. The perfect Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie to his Clyde. When he eventually turns heel, he's got to turn heel. He's got to eventually see that he keeps getting the shit end of the stick in wrestling. There's just so many things. And I understand we don't have many faces, but I think there's a lot of turns and twists that could happen. There's going to be certain people, and we'll get to that I think debut soon, that will be taking a big part. I think you get some people that do a little switching as well. So
I don't know if he needs to be heel, but I think a good tweener where he kind of toes that line and she kind of keeps him on the good side. Kind of that thing I think would be really well done, to where, I think that would be a good character for him.
Yeah, I like that. It doesn't need to be straight heel. We do have a lot of heels. Josh is obviously a tweener, but definitely a face, right? He's Angry Josh, which he needs to be. We don't have a clean cut baby face, and the reason is we had Rich as that, and it didn't work out. because I love Rich. I want to make that apparent. I love him with the Soldiers. I love him as a singles. I love him as our champion. I'm okay with that. But it wasn't the right time, and it wasn't enough. In a clean, or what is it? Fresh meat babyface does not work. Eddie Edwards works, but he's a little off, right?
It takes a special person. Eddie does it. Eddie's real good at it, but it really does take a special person to be a straight baby face and not kind of like toe that line across, because a lot of times you get booed. Like if you look at someone like WWE, like John Cena,
Right.
who was that straight baby, people
we
hated
live in a
him.
cynical world, and
Yeah.
And I said that with Johnny and Taya, and I'll say it with Matt and Chelsea. If you are attractive, if you are wealthy, if you are famous, the odds are, if you have that combination, you're not going to be well liked. And that doesn't mean in a personal aspect. You could be the nicest people in the world. Johnny Nitro, Mercury, whatever. Good dude. Taya, great. I love Taya. But they get stale quick. And no one wanted to see Josh beat him, be the Bret Hart, and go out there and defend it just doesn't work unless you're Eddie or someone of that nature. So, there's twists and turns we could do. But to get back to it, I really dug the Masha teaser. It's been a while since we had vignettes. We mentioned them a while back. It'd be smart for them to reintroduce these new knockouts like that, and I'm happy they did it. I was happy to see TNAIW and Jesse put on a decent match. Way improved. Obviously, Jesse is my favorite of the two. Yours being Cassie, right? I think that's how it breaks down. But
Yes.
both of them stepping up in the wrestling. So, look, man, I don't want to be whatever, but we say the same thing on the show all the time. Transparent, unbiased opinions, right? We say what we mean and be it. So, I'm going to have to touch on this. I don't know if we're about to take that next step. I don't know if there's something big going on, or people are just seeing the writing on the wall of the sponsors and all of this going in. But look at the physique and the gear of a lot of people who's maybe slacked on it for quite some time. And that's not a diss, but I mentioned it when Chris Bay got his tooth fixed, because I have the same tooth. I could say, I'm going to say it here. Willie looks in shape and tight with the gear. All the knockouts have always been whatever, but putting it all together, they're fine-tuning a lot of things. Production, something's going on. And I'm waiting for the ROH thing to talk about that. But how cool is it to see ROH footage on Impact Television? I thought it was cool, man. I'm not a homer. I obviously love Impact, but we're pro wrestling. And, I like that. I never liked Miguel. Oh, man. As far as anything else goes, the Who is John Skyler thing kind of goes into the next thing, if you're okay with talking about ROH now, since we already kind of have a natural segue.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I do want to mention something. Hey, Datila. Okay. Rok-C just had a tryout with WWE. Okay. You don't want to spoil anything. I don't know anything. I'm just putting two and two together here. ROH is obviously, or not ROH, excuse me, well, technically, are setting up for Briscoes to go to AEW, it seems. They're feuding with FTR.
Yeah, they're going to wrestle FTR and Rockhard Johnson and Dick Smallwood, or whatever their names are.
And Deonna, Iceman, as he said on the show, it's guaranteed that their match will happen in an Impact ring. Okay? If she had a tryout prior, or just recently, after that was already established, my thing is the writing's on the wall, and maybe they want Deonna to be that ROH champion. So if she's the ROH champion, I'm sure that ties into something with Chelsea down the line. But if she's going to WWE and Deonna is now the ROH Women's Champion, is that what they call it? What?
ROH Women's World Champion.
What happens with that? Do we unify? I don't think so. ROH, for all intents and purposes, they're coming back.
So what I think ROH is doing, and I think ROH, whether they come back or not, I don't know if they're going to sell all their product, but I think right now they're telling the wrestling companies, You can use our belts, you can defend them multi-promotional, whatever you want to do, but they're going to stay ROH titles until they actually decide what they're going to do. And I honestly, if ROH comes back in the extent of monthly pay-per-views, nothing else, but their titles are defended through multiple different, that would be the coolest thing ever. Like, you have a company where your roster, you don't actually have a roster. It's just like an indie show where you just put people together. The only people you have are your champions. And your champions, it would very much be like old NWA.
TNA, too.
Well, yeah, but that's
NWA,
but to where like you have different territories, but the ROH belts can travel from company to company, and it wouldn't be anything like, oh, we don't want our champion to lose to yours because, well, you're not our champion, you're the ROH champion, even though you're on our. So it would be a really cool concept, and I hope that's the way it goes down the line with them.
They've always been building the stars of tomorrow. That's their shtick.
Yes.
And they're going to get back to. They swung. They got screwed in my eyes. Or they put all their eggs in one basket and it didn't work out.
Correct.
So now they're back to square one. I see more GCW talk. GCW, once again, has... They keep saying it's gaining steam, but the following is a sellout of 1,800 is the extreme they have. Is that bad? No. For an indie, that is phenomenal. They're great at marketing. They're good at doing things. They have no television. They are not known outside of Twitter. And that's not a slap in the face to them. I think it's great for what it is. But to people keep saying they're number 3 and they're gaining and they're going to be... Nah, man.
I also just wonder when your championships, and I said this before, are all this super extreme hardcore stuff. Like, how big of a following can you have? Like, you're not getting on, like, Jericho, when he wrestled, I can't remember the dude's name. The guy
Shawn
from
Michaels.
GCW. No. Hold on,
Nick
let me
Gage,
find
yeah,
it.
Shawn Michaels, yeah.
Nick Gage, thank you. I can't remember what the dude's name is for some reason. All I can remember is the dude with the super jacked up teeth. But like when he wrestled him on AEW, like it was cool, but it kind of got to the point where you're like, all right, I just don't enjoy this type of, like, me personally, I don't enjoy watching people, like, hearing like Matt Cardona talk about how he was like just dripping blood. Like, that to me, like, it may be fun for a little while, but it's never getting on TV. You've got to get more mainstream, and I don't know if they're going to do that because their core audience likes that.
Right.
So,
well, it's that weird dynamic of what ECW was in what I would say my day, 1 o'clock in the morning after Saturday Night Live, compared to the TNN days of, whatever they were trying to do there.
And that's the thing. ECW, when it was that super hardcore, like you said, it was on 1 o'clock after whatever. I remember finding it, like, I don't even know if it was on a stand. It was like random times I would find it on, I want to say it was channel 35. Yeah. So whatever was like Fox Sportsnet, I think. Like, and like you said, at random times of the night. So I feel like when you're going that violent, that is your
niche,
like your ceiling.
That's a great.
Yeah. It's just random channels at like random times of the night, because who's going to want to sponsor? Coke isn't going to put an advertisement on when you cut back and a dude's like pouring blood. So I kind of feel like that's the issue with
as far as I'm summarizing the comments here for the people that are listening audio, and I'm addressing it. We've been addressing them as we go on about the topic. So if we're all here and there, that's why. No, the troll, or the troll, the number 3 comment was a topic we had a couple weeks ago because it was a big hoo-ha on Facebook or something. And look, at the end of the day,
the dominoes.
We're all about pro wrestling. To each their own. This is not shitting on GCW whatsoever. Go for them. 1,800 is a lot more than Impact has had in quite a bit. But anyways, it was just part of the continuity of the show. So still talking about ROH, I do want to mention something. So yeah, I like that idea. I think Deonna takes it. I think Rok-C, and I hate that name. It's the first time I can't wait for WWE to change someone's name. So we have Deonna in that tie there. We have Chelsea there as well. There's no way in hell a company that can't afford to keep the doors open, literally, and not, I don't want to say it that way. I take that back. Their parent company isn't putting more money into that for them to give it.
Correct. They've chosen to shut down.
They're not going to be able to keep an EC3, Braun Strowman, Weston Blake in that Control Your Narrative group. Now, I'm not big on the tooting the old horn. We're not Barry Horowitz here. We've talked about that a lot. But there's something to be said. And I don't know if they're listening still. Hi guys, Impact Management. Angry Josh works. We said before that, Control Your Narrative group should come as Strowman, EC3, Weston Blake. We said Buddy Murphy, but whatever. John Skyler, and they travel it to company, right? Their goal, the Control Your Narrative groups thing. They have T-shirts now, obviously. Their thing is that they're against anti-establishment of the three-letter wrestling companies. We're not a three-letter wrestling company. So could we be their home? I just found that really weird, a choice of words, that they've always, more recently been after the three-letter whatever company. I also think it's funny. Yep. Who is John Skyler? Who is John Skyler? We mentioned it at the beginning, and I think that's the seed they are planting. And Stryker definitely fucking planted that seed, soiled it, sowed it, he did it, kept talking about it. I think he has something to do with this. And the fact you said, why are VBD and the Good Brothers together? Unholy alliance for a reason. What kind of... I think the Wolves do come back, but a Control Your Narrative group against that group would be warfare. And we said that, AEW didn't let us do it for whatever reason. We can all speculate. But like a war going on and then VBD strolling in is badass scenery. Like that is a cool image that needs to happen. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Zicky Dice, yeah, I agree with that as well. I know we're talking about ROH, sorry, I'm jumping again, but I think they're doing a great job with Zicky. I think his gimmick is another that can be overbearing if not used correctly, written correctly, or oversaturated. And I think just sprinkling him in there until we all get used to him, and then so on, it could be, whatever. But do you have anything else on that group? And
I mean, I think that group would be amazing in Impact. I mean, we've talked about it here for a while. AEW is growing rapidly, but they're getting very bloated. They've really picked off the top free agents. Every time WWE releases somebody, they're getting them. And now with ROH going out, like you said, ROH isn't going to have this roster. Their whole roster is going to be gone. So I feel like it's a real opportunity for Impact to go out there and, outside of maybe one or two guys who may be lucky enough to get into AEW, I feel like there's a lot of people that Impact can pick up and do really good things with. I mentioned before, you add Dalton Castle, you throw in Falaba and Lawrence Diaz, the boys, and that shit is just a rocket ship to stardom. Can you imagine them coming in dressed as the boys? Like, that shit would be great.
Yeah. No, and yeah, that would be interesting.
And I mean, and I know I'm joking with that, but I think Dalton Castle would be amazing. There's a lot of guys in ROH that have Impact or / TNA roots. You obviously have the Kingdom with like Maria Kanellis and Matt Kanellis, Mike Bennett. They were there. EC3, Kenny King is there. I mean, if you're looking to add some depth to your roster, ROH is a great place to grab it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I will end the ROH talk on that. But I will say this with the AEW bloated comment, and I know you didn't mean it on a negative way, and I don't know if it was taken away.
No, their roster is getting to the point where they can't add people anymore without it being a negative for something.
Right, and that's another thing we preach a lot of, which is, look, pro wrestling. If you don't like AEW, You don't have to talk about AEW. Talk about Impact, if that's what you like. And you watch AEW regularly, right? Okay.
I do, yeah. I like every W. Well, at least Dynamite. I don't watch Rampage, but Dynamite I watch
So you
every
watch
week.
the one, not all 15. There's nothing wrong
Correct.
with them having the bloated roster. My point with that has always been the same thing when I talk to all the Impact fans that are going a little overboard with the AEW hate, which is any hate because it's wrestling. Who gives a shit? Eventually, contracts run up. Eventually, Tony Khan wants to save face and not cut anybody and just say, let's just not renew their contract. You brushed it under the rug. No one's
Yeah.
angry. They go somewhere else. You're happy. You got service out of them. They're happy. Boom. Deal done. Clean. Let's move on. That's going to happen with a lot of people coming up. Okay. I mean, they dropped a Muscles McGee reference last night, and we almost shit our pants. We thought Brian Cage was already coming back. Okay, so I think there's going to be a lot of things that come up. AEW can do their thing, but there's no reason to get angry at that bloated roster because eventually they're just not the cream rises to the top because it's not true all of it. Sometimes it's a chance, sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's injury. Timing is big, but I think a lot of good pieces might fall, and that's what I wanted to get to. Big Swole is a 100% yes to come to the knockouts. I've been saying it, and I don't know other way to say it besides we need a black chick that can go. I'm when we first started, and it was Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, and then Angelina, and then Mickey and Taylor, whatever way. Diversity. And since Kiara left, come on, we need somebody. We need some good representation there, and I dig what she does.
That's true.
I dig what she does. All right, let's go on to Cardona in NWA here. Cardona obviously arrived in NWA. We don't know anything past that, but we could imagine that it's going to be heel Matt. I don't know. Either way, whatever comes out of it, is this the time that we start recognizing Cardona in other companies?
You mean like the stuff he does in other companies? I think it depends. Like I know in GCW, although I don't follow up much, I follow Matt, I follow him on Matt Cardona on Twitter, so I know he was a heel there, and I think it kind of depends on what type of character he takes. If his character is completely different in NWA than who he is in Impact, you don't acknowledge it. But if it turns out that he ends up, if it's the same character, then I definitely think you do talk about the things he's done and use it to, as long as he's winning and, in there, I think you use it to elevate him in Impact. It would have been great if they mentioned that he was the GCW, like talk about that stuff, but it's hard to when he's playing the heel there and he's a face here. Like that part's a little bit weird, but I do think that it would. I think if as long as it's the same character, it's in that same continuity of who he is. I definitely think you bring it up and you address it to help grow him. So I think we're talking about the ROH titles, I think him with an ROH title, maybe like the ROH TV Championship, would be really big for him. To be able to use something that he could win someplace else and then bring it back, and then you could connect what he did there to Impact.
Yeah. The reason I ask it is because Cardona is way more over, heel or face, outside of this company than he is in the Impact Zone. We obviously cheered him at Slammiversary and beyond. And we cheered all the faces and booed all the heels. Try to be good Impact fans at the tapings.
Yeah.
But not being there and listening to the crowd reaction or lack thereof, I just think once again it's hard for him to get over as a nice guy, because he is a nice guy who likes toys, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're decent.
Do you think when he's his nice guy persona, do you think people still connect him with Zack Ryder?
Yes.
And that's why they don't?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's more so that internet favorite instead of, look, in person, dude. I told you, it surprised the hell out of me.
He's fucking huge.
Yeah.
he has seeing him in person, and it's rough because it's very similar like the NBA. You look at Steph Curry, like, oh, that midget Steph Curry, and then he's like 6'4", and you're like, oh well, that guy's a fucking giant. It's kind of like that. Like, he doesn't look big compared to like Moose, but compared to normal people, Matt Cardona is a big fucking
deceptively
dude.
big. And I think he can do a.
Oh, we're getting rated. We have 4 people. Yay!
Oh, it's Ashley Harris.
They brought
cool,
over
that's
their
cool.
4 people.
Technology.
Thank you for the raid.
Yeah, man. Though to talk about him and why I said that, though, I think he could be. If he could carry that overness over to Impact, I dig it, and I think he can be a top dude. Is his style polished? Is that the way I'll call it? That polished WWE style? Yeah, it's a polished WWE style. He gets his certain bumps in, and he gets his things in, and he's smooth. He's good, but for that reason as well, he should be a heel. If you put them together, him and Chelsea, and they're snobby and they think they're better than everyone without being heels, I think that gets over. I think that gets over. But with Cardona, I think it's important to see what he does with NWA. But yes, I would like some continuity with him. It seems like him and Myers are both feet in into Impact. I don't know if that means signed, but it definitely means that the merch, we've seen a step up in the merch. We've seen a step up in advertisement and cross promotion between them and Myers and Cardona. What is their thing called? It's bothering me now. Shit. Some about action, but whatever their thing's called. Major podcast, the major brand that they have. So there's a lot of crossover there. PBR, obviously, they dealt with them first. Now we have them sponsoring things. They are good for this company. And I just want I want to find a way for everyone to embrace him as if he's not when people were shoving, or when Impact was shoving Anderson down our throat, or someone that was WWE,
Yeah, I do definitely think a heel turn would help him. I will say this. Brian Myers is someone that, since he's come to Impact, I like him a lot more. Like, when he was in WWE, I hated him in WWE. I thought the character was stupid. I just thought, he was just shittily done. And when he came to Impact, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I hated him so much in WWE. But since he's come to Impact, he's been amazing. And I do think maybe not a full heel turn, just walking that line, just a really, like, that a Bullet Club thing, like with Chris Bay, to where he gets cheered, but he's not really a face. And I think that would be the perfect run for him, because we don't have a lot of faces, and he could work on both sides based off of who he's going against. Whereas him is just the baby face, just doesn't work.
I don't think it works with a lot of people. And that's not to take away from him. I think he's a talented dude. I think she's talented as well. And someone said it in there. Wonder if the chair shot leads to the hot mess coming out. Look, if the hot mess then brings out something out of Matt as well, I think that's a dope idea. Because it's not breaking them up; it's pulling him into something different. And I think that's cool.
At Slammiversary, didn't she kind of wasn't her half of the look kind of like a hot mess look? Yeah, but I'm saying, but like part of it was half was his side, half was her side. But
both. He had it too.
No, but I know. I'm saying on his side, but that was her part of the gimmick. So so she was more hot messy there, kind of. But I think that would be cool. I think bringing them out, but we'll see what happens.
I want to get to IPWF. If we don't get to Hard to Kill, we don't get to Hard to Kill. Once again, guys, we will be here live 8 p.m. Eastern next Saturday at our normal time, 8 to 9. Christmas night. We'll be announcing the Nonsensi Awards, amongst a bunch of other things. If you don't follow us or listen to us regular, I hate that word. My mouth isn't made for that word.
Regularly.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, follow us, and join the family. One friend at a time, one fan at a time. All right, with IPWF, you have the results.
I do. We're going to run through everything. So we had Duke Winchester, who was Sam Beal, defeated Mr. E, who was Jackson Stone, by pinfall. Chad Too Bad defeated Bill Ding, Trey Miguel. The Rhythmic Warriors, Johnny Swinger and Mikey Swinger, Mike Jackson, defeated Sunday Morning Express, which was Chris Sabin, and it was ACH. That's who that was?
Oh.
I had no clue that was ACH.
Am I missing? No, I think someone... Am I going crazy?
No, that's ACH. Okay, apparently it was ACH. That's awesome. All right, we'll have to discuss the fact that I had no idea that was ACH. Frank the Butcher, Rhino, defeated Rip Razor, Ace Austin, before Rip Razor turned around and murdered Frank the Butcher. Georgia Cobb, Jordan Grace, defeated Lady Bird Johnson, Havoc. Giuseppe Scovelli Jr., Joss Matthews, defeated Quincy Cosmos, Rohit Raju. Harry Hall, Jake Something, defeated Badlands, Bart, Larry D. I'm a Bell, Deonna Purrazzo, defeated Rusty Iron, Gia Miller with Rip Razor. Tim Burr, which was Josh Alexander, defeated Eric Wood, which was W.E. Morrissey. Jazzy Fit Body, which is Madison Rain, defeated Wanda the Werewoman, Savannah Evans. Stomp in Paradise, which was G.I. Broski, and Brian Bone Crunchin, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, defeated the Russians, Sergey the Siberian, Madman Fulton, and Stalingrad Strangler, which was Tony Gunn, and then Santa Claus defeated Sex Ferguson.
I'll take the lead on the review real quick, because there's some things I'm gonna forget. First of all, that was not ACH. There's no way. No.
Ace Reporter was ACH.
Buddy, they even called Morrissey W.E. Morrissey, so someone's writing that isn't doing it right.
No, it just says
okay.
W Morrissey. I said W.
Well, either look it up, but either way, couple things I want to hit on. First, I didn't know that was Morrissey. I don't know why it took me. I was obviously in the treehouse, but it took me a good end of the match to be like, is that Morrissey? Is that his dynamic, his wrestling style, totally different. And I know that sounds so silly but his hair was, I don't know what it was, but I was lost. And if that's ACH, I'm gonna shit my pants, because it's Morrissey, and I'm like, what else happened? Like I said, I thought there were some decent matches. It was cool to see other people's different sides of personality. Poor Josh, man. They make this even when he tries to do stuff cool and succeeds, people just don't like the dude, and I feel so bad. But it was good to see him go in the ring and try to get some applause there. Shout out to Josh, poor Josh. The one thing. Oh, do you have an answer? You seem like you. You're still.
No, I'm still looking.
I don't think that's ACH, bro. I don't know, man. But either way, the niche they have.
Yeah, Ace Reporter ACH. I mean, I found two play. That was ACH.
I mean, makes sense with Sabin, but I'll have to look into it. That's weird, man. No one. All right, well, yeah, Johnny Springer does play himself.
I was about to say, I had no clue.
Yeah, it was good to see Mike Jackson. I'm trying to touch on all the things there. There's a lot of people that I really dug their gimmicks. It was cool to see Moose just turn on the switch. And yes, not all black people. Okay, that'll segue into what I'm going to say. There was a moment when they announced G.I. Broski, and he came out. I was like, first of all, he ripped off Booker T, and who is this motherfucker? I thought he was. I swear to you, I thought he was wearing like makeup. I thought he was black. I was like, who is that? G.I. Broski. I was like, damn, dude. Exactly. I was like, Matt Cardona's about to get canceled. But it's just his shitty tan. And Moose, I love that people like him and Morrissey, all these people that take themselves so seriously on Impact show, get to be something else on this. I think this is something that is going to be Impact's calling card, that once a year you put out between the big shows or whatever it is. Halloween makes more sense, but whatever. It could be any time of the year, really. But just to give your thank you, another person steps up and says it was ACH.
I'm looking. Calm down, people.
Yeah, he did. Broski, it was good, man. I liked him and Myers. They popped me. I super popped when Gia got to be alongside Ace. I really dug that. I love the Arn Anderson moment of slitting Rhino's throat. I said I never want to see a Rhino in a singles match again, and I love Rhino, obviously ECW guy for life, but I loved him as Frank the Butcher again. I could watch that. It looks right. It feels right. He should just turn into Frank the Butcher. And he could be Pelvis Wesley. That's how you get that tag team rolling. Pelvis Wesley and Frank the Butcher as a team. Yeah, I love my DJ Too Large. Obviously, I'm not wearing this shirt today. Fuck. But yeah, it was cool to see Gia, and she held her own in the ring. It was so cool as well to see Deonna put her on that Moose and Morrissey level of people who changed like that. Obviously, she's a New Jersey girl, diehard. Wrestle Inc. says that was ACH. Get the fuck out of here.
So I feel like he's lost some weight because all the pictures that I'm finding of him, his face looks more round.
I've at least seen 5 matches in person of ACH.
Okay, I'm letting you know. I have a picture pulled up of Chris Sabin and the wrestler believed to be ACH, and I have pictures of ACH. I'm trying to compare them, and he definitely looked. I don't know, man.
We'll have to post him afterwards. He is definitely smaller now. Okay, that makes sense. Then. Okay. I thought it was just Cardona again. Yes, his hairline is. Okay, we'll see. We'll figure this out. For those who are listening, we apologize. We are trying to figure.
Our whole Christmas episode is going to be us breaking down facial structure of this guy compared to AC. I got an app on my phone. We're running it through, guys. We'll figure it out.
I was wearing glass. I don't know if you thought that.
Just saying. That's what everybody's saying is it's ACH.
Right. Well, with the IPWF thing, I really dug a lot of it. Love Willie getting. I think Willie's one of those people who needs something. I love him in the Soldiers because he looks great now. He is amazing in the ring. We all know promo skills and character development are his lack. That's where he lacks. So Downtown Daddy Brown ain't a bad character, man. But I enjoyed that. I like to see Mike Jackson back in there. I'm reading my little things here, but it says Jonah's a star. I guess I forgot to mention that. Jonah's a fucking star. Anything from last night's show, Max, that really popped you or got you to be like?
So, I really enjoyed the show in general. It was funny to me that, just that they were able to go out there. It really did feel like an 80s wrestling show, especially in the pre-show when some of the stuff didn't work very well. That just really hit home,
by
like
design.
when you're watching that old. But no, I thought it was really good. It was fun to watch. It was really lighthearted, and you could tell a lot of the wrestlers were just having fun with it. They changed their wrestling styles to how you wrestle in the 80s. I like that. So I like that a lot. I actually like it in December only because right about now is when they kind of stop everything. You get your best of shows, your all like your award shows and things like that. And having a live show that you can put on right now is just a good thing to keep people interested. I do want to say one thing, mostly because this was something that I saw on Reddit. And I'm going to read the exact comment. And if this is one of the people that listens to our show, I have some words for you afterwards.
Right.
So somebody said, I feel like some person who actually has a sense of mercy and compassion needs to take Impact behind the barn and put it out of its misery. It just makes zero sense to fly an entire roster to Kentucky Christmas week to put on a random gimmick show 4,000 people are going to pay $7 for that sounds like one bad joke after another. Does anyone even have the slightest bit of confidence this company has any growth prospects whatsoever? It's been living 1.7 feet in the grave for years. So to whoever this person is, I just wanted to say, fuck you. Because this show is exactly the type of thing that wrestling companies need to do. It was fun. It allowed the wrestlers to go out there and just have a good time. You literally give people paychecks right before you're about to say, hey guys, we're taking a month break. Go back. Hey, fly out. Let's get some. It was a fun show that was nothing but laughs and jokes and allowed people who, as we always say it, were pro wrestling. If you just enjoy wrestling, no matter what company you're a fan of, you could have turned this on and gotten a laugh out of it. And you didn't have to have any idea of what was going on. If you didn't like this show, you were the worst type of wrestling fan imaginable.
I don't disagree with you there. I'm trying to pause because of the lag. Sorry if I talk over you. I agree with you. Look, Ace Austin's tweet, really summed it up for me, and I can see people saying out there that, if this is not the show for you, then don't watch it. And if you don't want to watch it, then we didn't want you anyways. Do you have to go and say, yeah, I want to watch IPWF every day. Give me another episode. No, that's not what I came out of it saying. But did I turn it on? And after we did the watch along, and then actually got to watch it by my, and pay attention, I fucking loved it. It was the most fun I had in wrestling in a very long time.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is, do I love each week of Impact? Yes. Do I like the random pay-per-views of other companies and our company? Yes, of course I do. But sometimes in the Twitterverse and everywhere else, we get caught up in the wrestling needs to be this, and did wrestling... This was a who gave a fuck. There's no continuity besides in the fake 80s that it exists in.
Yeah. In 1984. I really want to see if next year's is 85.
That would be good. Well, eventually we'll get to the 90s.
Yeah, that's how I want to see if this goes.
The thing with me, though, with it, is, and I was kind of going there, but of course, I get on my tangents there and I get lost, but if this is something that once a year, one special, where they don't have to just go out and put on bangers, and I thought some of the matches were actually pretty good. I could watch what's the Rough Riders? Georgia Cobb. Yeah. Watch her match all day. The Rough Riders will ride again. I'm surprised Rachel wasn't there, by the way. But this gives free agents or people contemplating what Impact offers, and doesn't say, oh, we flew people here for $4,000 for $7 and barely any people. First of all, it's content that will live on their Impact Plus and in their library forever. And the more content they put together, which is already a valuable library, will be worth even more. So, and I won't even get into all the other stuff about the 1.7 feet and all that shit. They're not worth our time. But I will say this. When once a year you do something like this and cleanse the palate of the fan, and cleanse the palate of the wrestler who's been doing the same character and the same thing, even though we give them more creative freedom than I believe any other company, this is good. This, to me, if I was a good brother and liked doing Sex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad outside of my whatever, why wouldn't I choose a place like Impact to be involved to where I can, hey, you guys do IPWF a little bit, maybe we can make that a series. There's opportunity there for do something outside the box instead of the same shit every week, 52 weeks out of the year. 52 weeks out of the year. Impact is the artist's wrestling company. I've said that since day one. I continue to say that. They give you a canvas, literally and figuratively, and they let you paint on it. And the smiles, and look, I haven't seen Deonna. Obviously, it's a character thing. But to see her smile and obviously she was a face. But go out there, same with Moose, same with, Myers, and they all looked like they're having a fucking good time.
Yeah, they're fun.
So yeah.
So I'll say three things. One, I'm really interested if they continue to age this, if they eventually get to the 90s, when they hit that Attitude Era time frame, I want to see what stuff happens then, because that would be fun. But that's 10, 15 years down the line.
Yeah.
On Reddit, the guy who posted all the
Sure.
stuff and who everybody was has Sunday Morning Express, Chris Sabin, and I don't know versus Johnny Swinger and Mike. So maybe it's not ACH. That guy had no clue who the fuck he was either. So it might. We don't know.
Yeah.
And apparently the backstage guy with the big thick
Crazy
glasses. I'm letting you know right now. If you put a gun to my head and say, "Guess who that was?" I would have never guessed. I would be dead right now. I would have not guessed Crazy Steve to save my life.
It's fun.
I had no clue. I was like, "Who is this motherfucker?"
It's funny because the Morrissey went through me. He's obviously a 6'9" white dude with long hair and a half a beard, but I still couldn't figure out that was Morrissey. Blue eyes, come on. But Crazy Steve was easy for me because one, he was Canadian. Two, Steve literally is legally blind, so obviously they covered his eyes to hide that. And he did a spot on. Come on, Canadian back. I mean, that was Steve all the way.
Dude, I was
you can
watching.
See how he stands sometimes too. It was just very Wow, holy Lord. Okay, well, it's 9:00, guys. Thank you for this. Went smoothly. This was oh man, this was a fun episode. Tune in next
week. We'll get into Hard to Kill.
Next week we'll get into Hard to Kill. Get us on the track to Hard to Kill, obviously coming soon. I don't know if we'll have Impact to talk about. We'll have to see if it's end of the year stuff or whatever. Regardless, we'll be here Christmas Day, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Add us, hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow us at TNAIW channel. And if you want to be part of the rankings committee, GoGoPowerRankings released every Friday, and then we release it on the channel on Monday. Stick with us, rock with us. Pro wrestling, one fan at a time, one friend at a time. Building this community Impact. Welcome to any opinions, mind you. But with that being said, join us next week. Christmas episode. Nonsensies are given out. Other little treats and things. Maybe we'll read a Christmas story, Max.
We could do a wrestling Christmas story. Just sub some people in.
All right. Well, go check everything out and make sure if you guys are liking our channel and liking our stuff that you follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube as well, where we also, as well as audio listeners, can now listen to Talking Bloody Nonsense, which is our sister UK show for anyone who loves British wrestling as well as Impact Wrestling. It's a mix and it's great. Go check them out. That's our buddy, Mr. Impact Craig, and a newcomer to the show, British veteran wrestler Nixon. All right, guys. Thank you to everyone in the chat group. Appreciate it. Never chat alone. Respect. Max?
We're still going to investigate to see if this happens to be ACH. Hopefully, we'll have more information for you guys next week.
We'll be on.
And thank you very much for everyone coming in. I want to say we're less than 15 people away from having more viewers than the Impact Wrestling channel does. So, moving on up like the goddamn Jeffersons.
All right. Well, we're never working for Impact. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.